I would say, a classic statement by the Supreme Court in a very famous case. It's a reference case, reference by the president about a very important matter. So the observation which is very pertinent for us is preamble is the key. Preamble is the key to open the minds of the makers of the Constitution. So to unlock the riddle called Constitution, to unlock, to know the minds of the makers of the Constitution, you require a key. And if you are looking for a key, the key is the preamble of the Constitution. So that statement will really put things in proper perspective for our discussion for next 30 minutes or so. So this was, this was what the Supreme Court has held in the case reference Riverbury case. Now, preamble of the Constitution. Preamble looked like this ornamentally in the first page. This is not the preamble which we have now, but this was the preamble we had when the Constitution came into force in 1950s. So certain changes are there, and we know the changes. Let's just recollect all those. We have a better preamble here. Again, the Republic of India, and 26th day of January 1950, the day which we consider, I would say we would consider, because all the portions of the Constitution did not come into force on that day, but mainly most of the provisions of the Constitution came to force on this day. And it went like this: we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India. So we have decided like this, to constitute India into a sovereign democratic republic. And there are four ideals to be obtained, that is justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. That's how it goes. Let's move on with this idea. The preamble we have now is would look like this. I think this copy, the slide now, is more visible and more readable to all the participants over here. And we need to read this. In our law college, I thought it will be appropriate to mention that in this context, in our college, means where I work as a faculty, Government Law College, Calicut. Before we start a program, it is not a prarthana that we do. In fact, we recite or we read out the preamble of the Constitution before we start a program in our college. We see that, and I myself personally see this as a most appropriate action, not only in law college, but any kind of institution in India, for that matter. Okay, let's read preamble. Preamble goes like this: we, the people of India. So it says about the source of the Constitution. It is made by we, the people of India, and we have made a solemn resolution, and it is notable that for conduct distinction, we can say that it is not in the name of God. It's a solemn resolution. It could be for the believers, it could be for non-believers also. So it's a solemn resolution to constitute. The word used is not to modify India or something of that sort. To constitute India, the word is to be properly understood. We are making an India, constitute India into a sovereign. What are we making India into, or what is the ideal which the preamble speaks about? The preamble, as most of us would know, it is drafted by none other than the great Jawaharlal Nehru. So we have solemnly resolved to constitute into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. There are 5 terminologies. I don't want to use the word terminology there, but 5 concepts, 5 ideals, based on which the India is being built, or rather, these are the 5 terminologies which will define the India which the the constitution makers, including the father of the constitution, Dr. Ambedkar, wanted India to be the ideal. So these are the cornerstones. What kind of India we wanted? We wanted a sovereign India. The constitution envisions a sovereign India, a socialist India, a secular India, a democratic India, and a republican India. So India is sovereign, India is socialist, India is secular, India is democratic, and India is republic. Such a nation is constituted. This document, this social legal document, it is not just a legal document, it's a law of laws, and this is the social legal document, as some of the constitutional, no, the constitutional wizards have said. This social legal documents which demarcates the cornerstone of the nation called India, that is Bharat, is it's a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So we, the people of India, have solemnly resolved to constitute this. And what's the purpose of this? The purpose of this nation is to secure to all its citizens, to secure to all its citizens four things, four ideals. Such an India which is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Such an India is constituted to secure. It is a means to an end. It is a means to an end in that sense. So such an India is constituted for the purpose of achieving justice, to achieve liberty, to achieve equality, and also to achieve fraternity to the citizens of this country, to citizens of this country. And in our Constituent Assembly, on this the 26th day of November 1949, do we have done three things. Hereby adopted, the Constituent Assembly has adopted this, enacted this as a law, and given to ourselves this constitution, meaning to say and declaring loud words, there is no other external agency which is responsible for this document, or responsible for any no responsible for this constitution, or responsible for the authority we, the people of India, have conferred on this constitution for the purpose of governance, and for the purpose of taking this nation forward and constituting this nation. So we have adopted it, enacted as a law, and given to ourselves this constitution. There is no authority whatsoever, including Independence Act and those kinds of things. Though we were members of Commonwealth of Commonwealth of the colonial states, we are a sovereign state. So that is made clear by this constitution, which is considered to be the key to open the minds of the makers of the constitution. Or in other words, if you understand the constitution, if we understand the constitution, sorry, we understand the preamble, we understand the constitution, the spirit of the constitution. In other words, preamble is the distilled essence. I would say preamble is the distilled essence of the constitution. Once you have the preambular ideals and preambular spirit in your mind, you have a constitutional spirit, and you are a person of the constitution. Let's go further with this. Originally, we just had a glance at the original preamble at the beginning, which is more ornamental, but it was not that very visible to us. So we are going further to this, and we understand that there are a few words which were added to the constitution by way of 42nd amendment in 1976. The words those were added are like this: socialist and secular. I invite your attention to the screen, and I've put that in bold, or rather in a different color, in red. The words which were added by way of 42nd amendment in 1976 are socialist, secular. And we have also added a word and we have added the word integrity. So the word socialist was added to this, secular was added to this, and the word integrity is added to this. And we have a conjuncting or a joining word called and also which was added. There are four words which were not originally part of the preamble, which were later on added to the Constitution or added to the preamble of the Constitution. Let's move further. Let's understand each of these, the significance of each of these clauses and the words and the concepts and the ideals. Okay, enacting clause. The enacting clause says, "We, the people of India." So the source of the Constitution, the power of the Constitution, the enacting power, everything is assimilated. I would use the word assimilate, assimilated, and the source of the Constitution, we, the people of India. We the people of India. It is notable at the beginning of the preamble and also at the end of the preamble, wherein we say that adopted, we adopted it, or our Constituent Assembly adopted it, enacted it, and given to ourselves this Constitution. So it really goes on to show the source of the Constitution. Let's move further. We, the people of India, the relevant portions are shown in red. I think it will make things more clear, or rather, this will be, this will make things easy for us. We, the people of India, and also to do hereby adopt, enact, and give unto ourselves this Constitution. Let's move further with this. So these are the words, relevant words. It's there. Just have a look at that, and let's understand each of the ideals. So we constituted, we the people of India, or our forefathers, including the great. I would use the word great with all its meaning for Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So people like B.R. Ambedkar, who were our forefathers, used this, used use the words to constitute India into a sovereign. The words used is sovereign. Sovereign. What does it mean? Sovereignty has got two aspects. One is external, and another one is internal. External aspect would signify that there is no external agency, even like the imperial government, to which we were a colony earlier, like UK government. We have no a kind of no submissive attitudes towards that. We are a sovereign nation, and there is no international organizations to which we would submit our secular sovereign power, and there is no internal authority other than the constitutional authority which would govern, which will be responsible, which will exist. So everything is within the constitutional framework. So that is what sovereign would mean. We are a political sovereign. Sovereignty has more to do with political things, but it's not only political, even social, economic, all those kinds of aspects are there, but it is more a political terminology and political ideal and political concept than any other kind of thing. And so it has got external aspect. Externally, we are sovereign, and internally also we are sovereign. We are sovereign, and Constitution is the highest authority. It is neither Parliament, nor President, nor Chief Justice of India, nor any other political party that will be sovereign. It is the Constitution, and we have rule of law. That is what is signified by sovereign. And we have another terminology called socialist. Socialism is a terminology which is which is amorphous, I would say. It has got different versions in different places. It signifies a kind of egalitarian society, but its main emphasis is on economic egalitarianism. Or rather, of course, it can have in a country like India, caste could play a major role. Politics can play a major role. There are very many aspects that would play a major role. Religion has a major role to play, but socialism emphasis, the emphasis of socialism, though the word used is society and socialism, it's not. It gives primary importance to economic egalitarianism, I would say, a kind of economic egalitarianism. That is what socialism is. So it was added by 42nd Amendment, and it's a kind of egalitarianism and equality, economic equality, I would say, as I said. And Article 39. which comes in part 4 of the Constitution, which is part of directive principles of state policy. Article 39B speaks about this, and it declares to us, or rather, it directs the government, the governing body, to have such a policy which will see that there is no accumulation of wealth. The social wealth, or the wealth of the society, is so distributed so as to subserve common good. That's how socialism is being looked at, and socialism is uh, a principle, in a way, a political principle, also political principle, where the wealth of the society is so distributed in an equitable manner, and that principle is one of the principles enshrined and the ideal that is ideal or direction given to the governing bodies in India by way of Article 39B. Also, there are one or two cases wherein Supreme Court has emphasized. These are not the only cases wherein Supreme Court has has made a mention of socialism. There are two on the screen. Just have a look. Excelware versus Union of India, and also DC Nagada versus Union of India. This is some of the one of the notable cases, significant cases, wherein socialism has been emphasized. Whether we are in the proper direction of socialism or not is definitely a question to be asked. But that is not. This is not the right platform and right time for that. I would just take to the notice of my esteemed audience here to that thing as well. Now let's move to secular. The idea of secular was the basic structure of the Constitution, declared to be a basic structure of the Constitution by the Honorable Supreme Court of India in the case SR Bombay versus Union of India. So this is a basic structure; it cannot be changed. Basic structure was something which originated, or rather made to originate by the Supreme Court in 1973 in the classic case Keshwananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. And basic structure cannot be changed, and secularism has been declared as a basic structure of the case constitution by the Supreme Court in the case SR Bombay versus Union of India. And secularism, the usual understanding of secularism is that India does not have what you call an official religion. All the religions will have equal status. It is not a situation. It is not a situation without religion. It is a situation wherein all the religions will have equal status. And there is usual understanding of secularism is that there is a watertight compartmentalization between state and what you call state and religion, state and religion. So the relation between those two are being are being looked at here. And the Western version of this is that there is a total compartmentalization between this. State will not interfere in the matter of religion, and religion will not interfere in the matter of state. But in India, in cases like Aruna Roy's case, I think in the year 2005 or 2006, Aruna Roy versus Union of India, wherein Supreme Court has said there is no harm, or rather, Indian secularism is to be understood in such a way that the state can interfere in the matter of, or state can support the religion, or state can interfere in the matter of religion, but it should be in such a way that all the religions are given equal importance, or there is an egalitarianism in that, or rather very equitable treatment in that. If it is helping a religion, it should other religion also should get an equal thing. And there is no harm in studying or making students study or spreading the good values of almost all the religion in an equitable manner. So state can interfere in the matter of religion. So in a way, the Indian version of secularism, as we understand here, is a bit different from, or rather, in substance, it is different from the Western notion, European notion of secularism. That's the idea we have: equal status for all religions, equal governmental support. Aruna Roy versus Union of India, positive content, and as Arbame versus Union of India are the major cases and major points as far as this particular idea is concerned. Okay, let's move on further. Democratic is democracy is of course understood to be a political ideal, but it is not only a political ideal. It could be a way of life even. We have a famous definition of democracy wherein it is stated that democracy is nothing but a system of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. In the words of great Abraham Lincoln. So democracy is such an idea. So ours is a democratic state. We have indirect democracy, and what we have is everyone has equal opportunity to participate in the political process. I can participate, you can participate, and any person, be it male, female, transgender, or anybody who has attained the age of 18 years. The only question that is asked is about your age, 18 years. Your religion does not matter. Your caste does not matter. Your gender does not matter. Your financial status does not matter. Your region does not matter, and nothing matters. Only thing that matters is whether you are 18 years of age. It is to understand the real value of this universal adult suffrage. The vote is of same value, it is of universal nature. Everyone has a right for this, and it is available to every adult, and it is uniform, universal adult suffrage. And there are very many things. We have got election commission, then we have an election at the doorstep, which is going to happen on 26th in this particular state. So we have so many, I know we have very many ideas there. It is not only a political thing, it could be even be a way of life. It can start even at home. But those kinds of things can be discussed in a different forum. Let's go on to understand the idea of republic. Republic is another idea wherein the head of the state is elected. So in that way, America, United States of America, is a republic, whereas UK, wherein you have a queen or king coming, as monarch as head of the state, which is not a republic. So a monarchical system does not exist in India. We have a republican government. Our president is elected by an electoral college, which has got within it MLAs and MPs who are elected. So we have a sovereign, socialist, secular, uh, democratic republic. Okay, so such a nation is constituted for the purpose of achieving four things for the citizens. We have constituted such an India, or we have the ideal of constituting such an India, and it if you look at from a realistic point of view, all these ideals might not have been already achieved, but the constitution ambitions to achieve all these at least in the long run may not be in a short time called 75 years or 78 years. Okay, so there are four ideals, which four things which the constitution is trying to champion for its citizens. The things are justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. And justice in all the fields, justice in social field, economic field, and political field. Social justice could be best understood if you read Article 38. I strongly recommend this, but that is one of the major articles wherein you get an understanding of how social justice is looked at in the Constitution. It's not only in this, but also in the Article 39 and very many other articles. But the best exposition of this ideal, at least for me, is in Article 38. So economic justice and political justice. Justice in all these spheres, an ideal society is being envisioned. And liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Just see, we can have liberty of thought, which mainly you find in Article 19, etc. Liberty of thought. You have unlimited, freedom to think. That need not be, in fact, granted. But once you are in the stage of expression, Once you think something, then you are going to express it. Of course, that is being declared. Of course, with subject to restriction under Article 19.2, and you have right to belief, Article 25 to 28, faith and worship. So, right to conscience is enshrined in Article 20, in Article 25 to 28, and it is subject to certain restrictions like public order, morality, health, and notably other provisions of this part. So it is it is limited. Of course, it should be limited. The greats like J.S. Mill, who thought about liberty, has said that we should be striking a balance, and that balance could be seen in Article 19, etc. So liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Now, coming to equality, equality of status in a society which is a stratified society called India, wherein casteism is the most important instrument, social instrument for the graded inequality in Ambedkar's onwards, declaring equality of status in Article 14 to equality is declared in Article 14 to 18, and especially Article 17 and 18 would speak about equality of status. And there is no untouchability, and there is no special titles that can be conferred by the state. So equality of status and equality of opportunity. Everyone will have equal opportunity. Of course, equality is understood, equality among equals, and there are very many principles involved to understand equality. And for that, we may have to read Article 14 and the very many principles enshrined in that, like you have principles used to have reasonable classification. Reasonable classification is allowed. Rule against arbitrariness, rule against natural justice, or rule in favor of natural justice, and rule in favor of reasonable expectation. All are part of equality. So all these are to be understood with this, but we may not do that because for that we will have definitely separate discussion. And coming to fraternity, fraternity is usually a kind of brotherhood, but it is notable here that fraternity means here assuring the dignity of the individual. Of course, it is not only the brotherhood that matters, but in a graded in a society wherein there is graded inequality and casteism, the equality, the dignity of the individual is to be assured, which is being declared by the preamble, and unity and integrity of the nation, because India is not just one group of people. There are different, group of peoples, I would say. So we have Kashmiris, we have Assamese, we have Keralites, we have Malus, we have Tamilians, we have Gujaratis, Gujus, we have Marathis, we have people from different areas, and these are different people groups. So fraternity is is envisioned not only as a brotherhood among individuals, but also a kind of brotherhood and unity and integrity integrity among these different people, these different world. The fraternity is understood in that fashion. Now, for coming to the last part of it, in our Constituent Assembly on the 26th day of November 1949, we have adopted, enacted, and given to ourselves. The Constitution is has been made on this day, which is commemorated as the Law Day or the Constitution Day in our country, and we do celebrate, at least in a minimal way, this particular day. And please note, I think whenever we speak about Constitution, we should be saying Constitution of India 1949, not 1950. My rationale for this is that, for example, Indian Penal Code was passed in the year 1986, in 1860, and it was enforced in 1962. So the year in which it is passed is mentioned as the year of the enactment. So the Constitution of India, I think it should be Constitution of India 1949. And there are a few more points to be made. Let's make it in 1 or 2 minutes. I think I'll be allowed that time because I'm just no, just spilling over. So is the preamble part of the Constitution in the case Re Barubari? that's a reference in the Memeber matter. Supreme Court has said preamble is not part of the constitution, meaning to say, in a way, meaning to say that preamble can be amended or change can be brought about in the constitution without without following the procedure or of an amendment. But the position has changed, and the Supreme Court in 1973, in a classic case, Kashwananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, has declared that the Constitution, the preamble, is part of the Constitution, meaning to say, preamble has got all the sanctity and it cannot be changed at whims and fancies of the political bosses. So, all the procedure of all the procedure of amendment should be followed if a government or if parliament wants to change the constitution. And the basic structure is also elicited, I would say, or rather built by the Supreme Court, mainly getting inspiration from the preamble. There is yet another thing to be understood. Can preamble be amended? And that's another question which Supreme Court has considered, which we should be mentioning because our discussion is on the preamble. And again, you get an answer for this from Keshwananda Bharati was the state of Kerala, wherein Supreme Court has said, yes, preamble can be amended, and we can say, as we understand, and as we mentioned at the very beginning of our discussion, by way of 42nd Amendment, we added a couple of words, couple of ideals expressly mentioned in the preamble. We added the words like socialist, secular, and integrity in the constitution. So preamble can be amended. So that is unequivocally stated in the case Keshavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, in the case Supreme Court of in the year 1973 by the Supreme Court of India. So that's it from my side, from as well as preamble is concerned. I think this is what I can cover in 30 minutes, and we have the preamble once again on the screen. Just have a look, just imbibe it. It's not only for the purpose of our discussion for a competitive examination, because a judicial officer should be ingrained with, or a judicial officer should have this as his ultimate principle. I feel so. Kindly take this as a strong suggestion, as a person who is admiring the constitutional democracy and constitutional system in this country. That's it from Lawwellman, because that's what Constitution says. Thank you so much.